Okay, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Hello. Hey, welcome back to the second video of this year.
It's currently 6.
I think about 6:05. Today is the 11th of June. I'm in a park. At the moment I'm sitting in a park in Stellenbosch. I'm here in my hometown in Ceres. I'm planning my second YouTube video. It's gonna be the planning stage. Today I'm gonna share my testimony. Or I'll just go off my head because it's supposed to be from my heart. Whoop whoop. Okay, hello. So it is currently, I think, about 6:05. I'm here in my hometown in Ceres, in my house. Well, not in my house, but on top of my house's roof. It's been a while since I made a video, and the last time I made a video, we basically ended off where I didn't know what I was gonna do, didn't know if I was gonna study or not, and yeah, just a lot of questions. And it's been 3 months since then, actually 4 I think. I've been trying to make this video a lot of times. I'm not the type of person who likes to talk about myself that much. It feels very narcissistic to have a whole video about yourself and events about yourself, and I almost thought I'll just skip it. I don't need to tell the whole story. It's not that important, but these events really did influence my life heavily, and I don't think if things didn't work out like that, I would really not be in the situation where I am today. The Lord has really blessed me in so many ways that I really just can't not tell you the story of what happened. And for that reason, I'd like to share them if you guys would like to listen. I'm gonna give it my best shot because I'm a bit shy. So bear with me. Quick recap. Last year I was studying electrical and electronic engineering at Stellenbosch University. I was a second year. I was living in Elsworth, men's residence. I was happy to be in res. I was happy with what I studied. In the beginning of last year, 2021, I was walking back from class with one of my friends from res. I think it was a Tuesday, and I just came back from class, and he had a motorbike, and I asked him if he could show me how to ride his motorbike. So he said sure, and I don't think I was focusing as much as I should. I don't think he was focusing as much as he should. But I got on the motorbike, he told me what to do. I started driving, and I drive about 5 meters, and out of nowhere a lady walks into the road, and I can't stop fast enough, and I crash into her. I fall over, my motorbike's on top of me, she's on top of the motorbike. Luckily I was only driving 5 meters and I didn't crash into her too hard. I immediately get up, I put the motorbike aside, I take her and drive to the hospital in my car, not the motorbike. And I wait there for about 3 hours for her to finish, and she gets finished. The doctor says it's just some internal bleeding in her leg, so basically a big bruise, and they give her some pain medication, and I drop her off at her house, and that's about it. Fast forward about 2 weeks, something like that, maybe a week. She comes back, and basically I'm being sued for 50,000 rand because I crashed into her. And the reason they could say I admitted guilt was she asked me if I was willing to help her pay because she doesn't have money to pay for the doctor's appointment or the medicine that they gave her. And I said, yes, we can talk about this. I'll be glad to help. But yeah, that counted as admitting guilt in law terms, which I obviously didn't know. Yeah, now I had a case against me for 50,000 rand, which is a lot of money, money that I don't have and my parents also don't have. And I'm completely like, what? It was an accident, and yeah, we have to eventually get a lawyer. Her lawyer is calling me, other people are calling me, the police calls me before my exams and tells me, hi, can I come into the police station today? I'm like, no, I'm writing exams. They say, can you come tomorrow? I say, no, I'm writing this whole week. And they say, well, if you don't come, we're going to arrest you. And this happens the whole way through the year. So that was one of the big events of 2021, and I'm mentioning it for a specific reason, which I will get to at the end. But yeah, and as this year is progressing, my studies are not going as well as what they used to be going. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I couldn't adapt from COVID to in person quick enough. I think I just didn't know what was expected of me, but suddenly from passing the whole time I was failing everything and I didn't know how to fix it. So it was a tough year mentally for me, But the year goes on. I love being in res. I joined my res's house committee. So I'm elected as a house committee member. I'm enjoying it, but my studies at the same time was going really, really far downhill. And long story short, the end of the year, I don't make the requirements to stay in my residence. And it's quite heartbreaking because firstly, I'm off the house committee where I was elected and obviously looking forward to the rest of the year. Really got to know everyone. And then secondly, out of res, which all my friends were at, which is quite sad. It's hard when you're doing something and you're failing at it. I don't think it's a nice feeling for anyone. And now losing the place where I'm staying, where people knew me and where I was at least known as someone, is also quite hard. Especially when you really get close to a lot of those guys, and they're very special to you. I kind of don't want to accept it, so I replied to be in res. Hopefully there's a chance. This happens about the 10th of December, something like that. And then the 22nd of December, which is my birthday, I get an email from the university saying you also did not make the requirements to stay in university, so you're not allowed to study. And this completely breaks me. I am completely shattered. I think a big part of one's identity is what you study at this time in your life. So I would greet people and say, hi, my name is Vicky, I study engineering, I'm in Helswichte, blah 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 blah. But now I can't say both of those things because I'm not there anymore, and it's quite sad. I felt really sad. I felt like I didn't even earn to stay here, let alone be given a chance to try and study longer. So sure, it was quite tough for me. Angry. I'm just angry at the Lord, to be honest. Don't know what this is happening to me. Don't know why. Just a lot of anger and emotions coming out at this time, as it should. And in this time I also reapplied for Stellenbosch University. I contacted a few people who did reapply, and most of them didn't get back in because it's a hard process. They don't just let anyone back in with your reapplication. You have to give an important reason, like you have to have mental health issues or medical reasons with letters from doctors or big financial reasons. And I didn't really have any of these. It's really playing with my emotions and it made me question a lot, should I be doing this instead? And that was the 22nd of December. Then the 29th of December, I borrowed my mom's car because my car is getting new tires. And I borrowed for one night to drive to my girlfriend's house and then drive to a holiday home with my family. And I borrowed the car, park it outside in their driveway. Next morning, I'm ready to leave. I walk outside and the car's gone. They stole my mom's car, didn't break any glass, didn't let off the alarm. Obviously, I was the guy who was in charge of taking care of the car. Okay, it's just more bad luck. I don't know why this is happening to me, Lord. God, I'm getting very angry and just frustrated, just confused. And then I think it was the 4th of January 2022 this year. So they called me. Hi, is this Vicky Hendricks? I said yes. And they said, you have to please appear in court the 20th of January at 8 o'clock in room 10. This was obviously not great news. And sure, I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was going to have a criminal record maybe. We had to get a lawyer for this and it was going to cost a lot of money. And at this moment, I completely felt like I have no control. When the car got stolen, it was just the third thing, which was a lot. And then the fourth thing, which is the lawsuit. So at this moment in my life, I don't know what I'm going to be studying. I don't know where I'm going to be staying. I lost my parents' car. And I have to appear in court and might have a criminal record. So it's 4 things. And I was very overwhelmed. I've never in my life felt more scared. It's not the nicest feeling because you really don't have anything more to stand on. It feels like the pillars that were part of your life are just being ripped out. I remember going to pray and feeling like I do not know where to start. And yeah, this continued for a while, growing more and more impatient. I don't know if I was going to try and find a job or try and apply for a different university. It was tough because this wasn't just my studies at the end of the day. This was also my parents, their money being used for the lawsuit, their money going into the car that was stolen. Still so anxious. I'm crying myself to sleep. So really at the lowest point in my life. Yes, I am. I really feel like I can't do it anymore because it's not nice. Yeah, this was definitely the toughest time. This was the peak of me being unsure because this was right before class started. And really at this moment could only be faithful on God, because that's the only pillar I had left. It is really true, and it's the last thing I had which like stayed. And I think it really showed in me how worldly things can really just, you can't really stand on them because the things you thought were solid in your life just aren't there. And this was really hard. Yeah, I basically didn't have identity in all the things I used to have identity in. And I might be very dramatic now, but it's how I felt. This really encouraged me to really just turn to God, which isn't easy, and I think it's very much a thing people say, like, yeah, you should pray about it and put your problems down at God, but it's something that very little people do. It's easier said than done, especially when you get into the situation where you literally can't rely on much else. And at this time, sure, I was really struggling, and I remember opening my Bible book. It's like a daily. Each day there's a passage to read. I got it for Christmas and my birthday, and the one piece was called Mana for Today, and it basically said, do not stress about the things of tomorrow, because the Lord will provide it. If you have everything you need today, then you should be happy and thank the Lord. It's obviously very ironic in a time where you don't know what you're going to do, what you're going to study, but these are all things that are still to come. I am worrying about tomorrow. I'm worrying about what I'm going to do later. But at this moment, I did have everything I needed. I was with my family. I had a place to sleep. I had food, a warm bed. And actually me stressing about all these things was making an idol of my future. And you don't really want to hear these things, especially when you're in a situation like this. But it really challenged me, and I basically said, Lord, all right, I'm here. I'm going to trust you. So it's basically what I did. But as it's continuing, I'm getting more and more impatient because I still want to answer. I'm being happy I have everything that I have today and now, but what am I going to do when this period is over? What am I going to do when university starts? And one of the following days, I opened my book again, and the title was The School of Delay. I think the first line was, sometimes the best test of your faith is to be patient on the Lord, or something like that. And I don't know if I laughed or just kind of got really, really annoyed when I read this. And I realized I'm not reading this by accident. Like, yeah, I really need to be patient now, and stay faithful. And yeah, I just had to trust him. Like I said, I was gonna. It was amazing the peace I felt after I started really trusting in the Lord, because I felt for the first time probably in my life I had complete faith and trust in God. I really just trusted him with everything. I prayed with my whole body, if I could say that, and just when I asked and said something, I really believed it, and it wasn't easy, and it's not something I don't know if I still do. And when I started doing that, the Lord started answering my prayers, which was obviously very cool. So the first thing that happened was the car insurance came back with the quote that they were going to pay out for the car. And we were anyway planning on selling this car. Not immediately, obviously, but we were planning on selling the car. We've had it in our family since about 2006, and it was very old. And the amount they paid out at the end was just under what we would have gotten for the car, which in my eyes is really a blessing, because we don't even know if we would have gotten that amount for the car, and we could then use that money for my mom to get a new car because she needed one for work. So super happy about that. First thing where the law really did provide. The second thing that happened was, I think it was a day before I had to appear in court, so the 9th of Jan. We were talking to the lawyer we had, and he said if we can dispute anything for around 10,000 Rand, it'll be good, which is already so much money that my parents had to spend. And he said he couldn't come with us to the dispute because it's going to cost us anyway about 10,000 Rand for him to prepare and to come. So we had to go alone, and we don't know law stuff. I don't know law terms. It's a big chance I could say something and everything could go wrong, or they could use that against me heavily. 2 nights before the lawsuit, my mom decides to contact her cousin, who's also a lawyer, gives us a number of one of the people that she works with, and he took a look at the papers and said that the claims that the people accusing us put in were not done correctly or in the wrong order or something like that. And he said we actually legally don't have to show up tomorrow because it's not done correctly. It will still have to happen somewhere, or they'll have to rearrange it and do it the proper way, but at least we don't have to worry about it so soon. We weren't really prepared. So to hear that it's going to be postponed was great. And he said that he'll go to the courtroom, and when they arrive, he'll just explain the situation, fill in the right forms, and then reschedule. And he went the day, and then he contacted us that morning, and he said the motorbike lady hasn't shown up yet. They're waiting for her, but they say if she doesn't show up, they're all fine to close the case completely. And yeah, they'll wait for her for a while, and if she doesn't show up, they're going to close the case. 9 o'clock comes, 10 o'clock comes, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and she doesn't show up. And they decide right then and there, all right, the case is closed. There's no more motorbike case. And this is just amazing, like a complete miracle. The fact that we didn't have to pay out anything, didn't have to settle something, I didn't have a case against my name, is really something that I can't really explain. Really don't know why she didn't come today, and I don't know how it happened, but the case was closed. So at this moment my parents could get a car. I had no more lawsuit, it was cancelled. My parents didn't have to pay out any money, and I didn't have any criminal record or anything like that. And yeah, I was just really in a great spot, but I still didn't know what I was going to do this year. I did send in my reapplication, and I was supposed to hear if I got in by I think something like the 24th of Jan, and then they said no, you're going to hear by the 27th, and then no, you're going to hear by the 1st of Feb, and then no, you're going to hear before the 4th of Feb. So I was really just continuing waiting, and I wasn't hearing anything back. So there's about less than 10 days left, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I decided to go on a first year's camp as a facilitator, facilitating first years who are going to be in Helsworth my res, which I've done before the previous year as well. And this was hard. I think seeing all these people who studied with me and are going to continue studying this year, but not knowing that I failed, was really tough. I was shy. I didn't tell anyone. I just kept it to myself because I didn't want people to know. And I remember each night in my little one-man tent, I cried, just thinking of everything. And hello, hello, hello. I got a dog, and people could obviously see on my face I looked like I cried, and they would ask me, hey, you're right, and I would say, no, yeah, I didn't sleep very nice, I was very cold or something. Yeah, it was a very tough time, but hard saying all these deep things while the dog is sitting next to me. The last night of the camp was really hard because by this time I still didn't hear, and I remember, sure, this whole day I've just been down and I felt sick. I knew that the next morning this was going to end, and then everyone was going to go to university and I was going to have to go home. It's something that I look back to. I knew I had to be very strong at this time, through everything, not just this, but the whole experience. And miraculously, the last night, after this long day, my mom gives me a call and says, guess what? We just got a call. You're back into university. You got back in. And I was so happy. I was so happy. And it felt like a breath I was holding in for 3 months. I could finally just go, you know, like just let it out. And I was so happy. And it was so amazing because all of the things I was reading and being patient and trusting on the Lord for all basically came through in this like one moment. And I felt so thankful. And bye-bye. And the next morning I just had to tell everyone. So I went and stood in front of all the first years. I think we're about 200 people in total there. And I shared the story. Obviously very raw and very in the moment, and I think it's one of the specialist memories for me because sure, these people obviously didn't know but saw me all this time, and it was just so special, and I'm so thankful. My life has been extremely blessed through all of this. I can't believe I'm sitting here today, actually studying here in Stellenbosch. It's actually my exams now. Didn't know that I was going to be here in the beginning of this year, and I'm so thankful for everything. I'm living in a flat right next to this park, about 100 meters away. It's really funny how things work out. As I'm making this video, or I've been trying to make this video, it's been hard for me to find the words and the reasons for why things have happened, because I don't know all the answers. When this whole lawsuit happened and everything with the motorbike incident, very angry and very upset that she walked in front of me and we crashed. But really thinking back, I think I realized while making this video, that's why it's been taking so long for me, because I keep on realizing more and more things. When I climbed on that motorbike, I didn't know how to stop. I barely knew how to drive, and I, to be honest, didn't even know where the brakes really were. And I could say I'm so angry that it all happened and glad it got me back into university, but it actually caused me a lot of pain. So what was the point? But I know I could have been in a much bigger accident than what I was. It's the first time I'm telling this to anyone, so I've only told my girlfriend. I don't really know how to put it into the right words, but I'm honest, and I know the Lord might have saved my life that day, because I crashed into a lady who walked in front of me, and you know, the price of my life versus the price of 50,000 rand might have not been too bad. I'm getting a little bit emotional. I'm just very thankful for everything that happened. I can't explain everything. I don't have all the answers, but I know that the Lord really loves you, and yeah, I feel overly protected by him and cared for. And I don't know if the story is going to mean anything for anyone, but if it does mean at least something for someone, I'm glad, and that's why I'm making this video. So yeah, that is the end of the second video of this 12-part video series about my year. The last video, I really didn't know what it was going to be, and didn't know the plans, and it's crazy the amount of things worked out. I'm sorry this video took so long to make, but yeah, it had to take this long, otherwise I would have never said what I needed to say. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked the video, and yeah, I'm looking forward to make the third one. Thanks. I'm very emotional now. Super thankful. Sure. Thanks for watching, guys.